In last session, we have seen about CSS selector, locator, and using text locator, how to capture elements in Playwright. Today we will see by using Xpath and also by using unique property of any element, how we can capture that specific locator. So we have also seen what is locator. Locator is used to identify the web elements on a web page. And then only we can perform the action by using our script. So it is very important concept to capture the locator first. In Playwright, we can capture by using CSS selectors, Xpath, unique property, using text, and using Playwright's built-in locators as well. This fifth point we will see in coming sessions. Today we will see about Xpath and unique property of element, how we can use to capture any element on web page. We have also seen the syntax of locating element. So we can use like this: await page.locator. In bracket, we have to provide the locator and then the method. For example, .click. It will click on this locator. This is the first way. Another way is we can directly use page.click and then we can pass the locator value. Any one of this approach is fine. In case of input boxes, we can also use the similar approach. Page.locator, pass the locator value, and then you can either use .fill or we can either use .type, and then the value which we want to pass into that input field. We can use any one of these. We can also use like this: page.fill and then passing the locator and second parameter as a value. So any one of these approach is fine. So that is the basic syntax of locating element. Now coming to Xpath. So first we will just quickly revise what is Xpath. Xpath is XML path used for navigation through HTML structure of the page. In short, Xpath is basically address of web element. By using Xpath, it is a syntax or language for finding any element on web page using XML path expression. Xpath can be used for both HTML and XML documents to find the location of any element on web page using HTML DOM structure. There are mainly two types of Xpath: absolute Xpath and relative Xpath. Absolute Xpath is Xpath expression that provides the complete path to HTML element in that HTML document. So it will start from root node and it will end with the target element. That's why absolute Xpath can be a very longer also. Basically, it will start with root node. It will start with one single forward slash to separate the different levels or nodes in the path. It provides the complete path to the element and does not depend on the context of location of any other element in the document. And because of this, absolute Xpath are very longer and they are more specific than relative Xpath. Normally in our test automation script, we don't write absolute Xpath. We prefer a relative Xpath. Relative Xpath is a type of Xpath expression that provides path to an element in XML or HTML document relative to the current context of location. So it starts with double slashes or it can start with single slash also to navigate through the document. It does not start with forward slash. Always remember, it does not start with forward slash. It uses the combination of forward slash and backwards. Forward slash is single and double. So basically it does not start with the forward slash and it does not reference to the root node of the document. So absolute Xpath start with root node, but relative Xpath does not start with root node. That's why it does not start with forward slash. Instead, it uses the current context or location as the starting point for the path. And that's why relative Xpath expressions are shorter and more specific and general for that element. And those are the relative Xpath mostly preferred while writing the test script. And what is the example how to write a Xpath, relative Xpath manually? So this is the syntax to write relative Xpath. 2 times forward slashes, tag name, In square bracket, we have to provide at the rate any attribute equals to value of that attribute. We can also provide star. After two forward slashes, we can provide the star. So it will not check for specific tag name, but it will check for all the tags in which that specific attribute matches with this value. Then it will locate that element. If you want to understand more about XPath, what is relative XPath, absolute XPath, XPath access, different methods of writing XPath, all these topics are covered in my another series, that is Selenium with Python. In that series, there are some videos which explains all the things about XPath. So in Playwright, we are going to support all those things. We are supporting XPath access, different XPath methods, relative XPath, etc. Dynamic XPath. So all these things are supported in Playwright as well, just like it is supported in Selenium. So you can refer those videos to understand more about this XPath. But now we will directly see. Basically, we are going to prefer relative XPath, and we will see one example now. So let's see practical example, then we will understand better. So I will go to VS Studio Code. In this, I am going to create a new file. I am naming it as locator underscore xpath demo dot spec.js. So we have created a file. What is the first step now? We have already seen in our previous sessions. We have to first need test and expect. We are defining them as a constant, and we have to import those from playwright test module. So this is the syntax at the rate playwright text. So test and expect will be imported in our test script file. Now in this, what is the next step? We have to use test block. In this test block, first parameter is name of our test case. So I will just naming it as, let's say, locator xpath demo, comma, we have to define one anonymous function. This is the anonymous function which we have defined. I am just pressing enter, and in this function we have to pass page fixture. By using page fixture, basically we can add different type of operations in our test script. For example, navigating to website, interacting with web elements, all these things we can use by using page fixture. And then we have to also provide async keyword before that function. And now we can write our test script. So first step is page dot go to what is the website we are going to. So I'm just copying. I'm first log out from this website. Yeah, so this is website which we are going to use. So I'm just copying this, I'm pasting here. And also we have to always use await before this page.goto. So whenever we are using page fixture, we have to use await as well. So await page.goto, this website, it will launch the browser, it will open this website. After that, next step is we have to identify this username locator. We have to identify this username field. In this, we have to pass this standard underscore user as a value. Then we have to identify this password field. We have to pass this secret underscore sauce as password. Then we have to click on login button. And after login, it will show you another page. So I will just show you here also. So once you pass this username, then you have to pass this password. We have to click on login. And from this page, we will verify whether this text is present or not. If this text is present, our test case is passed. So we will capture this text and store that text in one constant, and then we will use assertion. It is similar to last session, but I will show you with using XPath this time. We will show you by using XPath this time. So first step is we have to identify username field by using Xpath. So what is the syntax of Xpath? So tag name. So what is the tag name here? Input is a tag name, and then we can use input. After that we can use square bracket. So first we have to use 2 times forward slash, then we have to use tag name, that is input, and we have to use any one attribute of this username field. So there are multiple attributes. Placeholder attribute is there, data hyphen test attribute is there, id attribute is there, name attribute is there. So we can use any one of these attribute. So I'm just using id attribute. So input, what is the syntax? At the rate id equals to, we have to pass the value. So what is the value of this id attribute? User hyphen name. So I'm just passing that value here. So if you see now, it is identifying the username field. So it is this is basically a Xpath. It is a relative Xpath of this username field. So I'm just copying this Xpath now. Let's copy this and let's use it here. So await page dot, we have seen in our previous session. What is the syntax? We can use page dot locator, or we can use page dot click as well and then pass the locator. But I'm just using page dot locator first, then pass the locator value, Xpath value I am passing here. If you see, I'm just using double quotes in this. So this is the Xpath which we are passing for this username field, and then we have to use fill, or we can simply use type as well. We can use any one of these. So I'm just using type this time. It is not recommending to use type, so we can use simply fill only. So let's use the fill method, and in this method we can pass the value, that is standard underscore user. And same step we can do for password as well. So I'm just copying this. Page dot locator, we have to pass the Xpath of password field now. So let's identify the password field again. So what is the tag name for password? Input is a tag name. Let me highlight one more time. Let's remove this from here. Let's inspect this password field. If you see, input is a tag name, and any one of the attribute we can use. For example, let's use name this time. Name equals to password. So what is the syntax of writing Xpath? 2 times forward slashes, input is a tag name, square bracket, at the rate attribute, that is name, equals to value of name attribute, let's say password. So if you see now, it is highlighting our element. So this is the Xpath of password field. So let's copy this Xpath and let's paste that Xpath in this line. Let's use double quotes. So it will capture the password input field and it will fill secret underscore sauce. This is the value which we want to pass to password field. After that, we have to click on login button. So what we have to do is, again we have to identify the login button by using Xpath. So let's see the Xpath, how we can capture the Xpath for login button. Let's capture, tag name is input, and we can use any one of these attribute. Let's say I'm using value attribute this time. So what is the syntax again? Control F, 2 times forward slashes, input is a tag name, square bracket, at the rate value equals to login. So it is showing, it is highlighting our login button. So let's copy this Xpath and let's write it here. Await page dot, we can use like this also, page dot click, and then I will pass the locator value. Let's use this one. So it will click on this login button. We can use any one of this approach, but to avoid confusion, always try to use only same approach everywhere. But just for demo purpose, I am using another approach, both the approaches here. I am just using page.click. Instead of page.locator, we can pass this, and again you can use .click method. That is also fine. I am just using like this way now. So await page.click, and this locator will be clicked. So login button will be clicked. I am just saving it. What is the next line now? After login, we have to capture. So I will just use one constant. This is same as our previous session. So I'm just capturing that constant. Equals to. So I have to capture the text value. So I'm just using this for login. So once you pass username, password, and click on login, we land up on this screen. After successful login, we land up on this screen. So I want to capture, I want to check whether this text is visible or not. If this text is visible, that means my test case is pass. So let's capture this text. We can use text also to capture the locate element. If you see, this is the text element. So simply I'm copying this text element and I'm storing that. So I will just capture that first. Await page dot, let's say locator. In this I can simply pass like this, text equals to, in double quote I'm passing that text. So it will capture that text and it will store that text in backpack underscore text. And then we can use await expect this backpack text. In this expect, we can use backpack text to be visible. If it is visible, that means our test case will be passed. And then we can close await page dot close. It will close the browser. So this completes our demo test case. So what we have done here is we have used Xpath at this time. So let's save this file. We have used Xpath for username field, password field, and login button. Then we have used text to capture that text after successful login. And then here we are comparing it, whether we are expecting this backpack text which we have captured, that to be visible or not. If it is visible, that means our test case is passed. We have successfully logged in. Now let's execute this test case. How to execute? npx playwright test. This is our command. After that, we can pass the file name which we want to execute. What is the file name which we want to execute now? Locator underscore xpath underscore demo dot spec dot js. We want to execute in headless mode or headed mode. We want to see the UI, so I am just putting headed mode. I want to execute only on Chromium browser, only single browser. So -- project equals to Chromium. That's it. So now let's execute this file. So it will start the test execution. It is running our test case using one worker. It is launching the Chromium browser. It will open the website. It will log in. It will verify the text. And it happened very fast. That's why. So we can check in debug mode as well, just like last time. So I'm just execute this debug mode again. Let's execute this file in debug mode now. So it will launch the Playwright inspector and we can control our test execution step by step. We can control now test execution step by step. So now it has opened our Playwright inspector. So if you see now, you can see all the steps here. So I can go to next step, which will launch the browser and open the website. Next step to enter the username. Next step which enter the password. Next step will click on login. Next step will compare the text, and next step will, it will not compare the text, it will just check that backpack text is visible or not. If it is visible, then it will pass the test case and the test case will be closed now. It will mark the test case as passed and test case is closed. So there are different methods. We will see in coming sessions all the different type of assertions, soft assertions, hard assertions, comparing, etc. Everything we will see in our coming sessions. But for currently basic, just understand we have verified that specific text is visible or not. If it is visible by using to be visible method, then our test case is passed. And this is the simple example of using Xpath in our test case as locator. Now we will see one more thing. So we have seen Xpath, we have seen CSS selector, we have also seen the text to capture the element. Now we will see we can simply use direct properties as well. But there is one condition, that property should be unique. If it's a unique property, we can directly use those properties as well. So in the same script, we will use, instead of this Xpath, I will use direct properties. So I am just removing this Xpath now. Let me show you by using direct properties how we can identify the locator. Property means attribute only. So now I will just log out from here. Now if let's inspect this username field. In this username field, there should be some unique attribute or unique property. So I can use, let's say, placeholder. So in this entire page, there is only a single placeholder which is having the value of username. So what I can do is, I can directly use this attribute along with the value. Placeholder equals to username. So in the script, what we can do, for username, what I will do, to square brackets inside, I will just put username we are directly using the placeholder as an attribute. So placeholder equals to username. So it will capture, it will check. So we can, instead of Xpath, I am directly using the attribute. So placeholder equals to username. And for password field also, let's check out. For password field, let's say name equals to password. So what I will do, I will directly use name equals to password. Correct? Yeah. So name equals to password. So instead of Xpath, I am directly using the attribute and values. Attribute and value. It will pass the value of username. It will pass the value of password. And let's say for login button as well. So you want to click on login button. So for login button also, let's see if there are any unique attribute or unique properties for here. So I will use data-test, or you can also use name again, login-button. So let's use that. In square bracket, name equals to login-button. Let's save this file and let's try to execute. Remaining logic we have kept it same. So now let's execute this file. Let's execute this. If you see, test execution is completed. I am not running in debug mode now. It has basically executed the same steps. It has verified the text and it is successfully passed. That backpack test is visible after logging. So our test case is successfully passed. So we can use direct attribute with property like this. Direct attribute and property. So we have used Xpath. We have also used CSS selector. We have also used direct attribute along with their value. And we have also seen using text as well. So using text as well we have seen. So these are the simple examples around Xpath locator, CSS locator, text method to find the element, and we have also seen how to use property of element directly. So let's revise one more time. So we have seen all type of locator method so far: Xpath, CSS, property, text, right? So we have seen CSS selectors, Xpath, unique property of element, using text as well. In coming session, we will see about Playwright's built-in locators. Also, we will see how to identify and capture multiple elements. So there can be a possibility that single locator element, so locator can have multiple elements associated with it. So in that session, how to capture those, that we will see in coming session. So thank you for watching this video. Let's meet in our next session.